U.S. President-elect Donald Trump has threatened to increase 100% import tariffs on all goods from Brics member countries if the bloc moves ahead with plans to introduce a new Brics currency. In a tweet that he posted a few hours ago, Trump says the idea that Brics countries are trying to move away from the dollar while we stand by and watch is over. Trump goes on to say that his administration will require a commitment from Brics countries that they will not create a Brics currency. Trump added that any country that tries to create a new currency should wave goodbye to America. The idea of a Brics currency has been making the rounds for more than a decade, with Brics countries, including South Africa, Brazil, as well as China and Russia, suggesting a new reserve currency would improve trade and investment among the countries. But the experts say a new Brics currency would be used as a means to bypass U.S. sanctions on Brics member countries such as Russia. If Trump goes ahead with the this particular threat, it would impact on the trade between Brics countries. The U.S. is South Africa's second biggest trading partner after China, with exports of cars, agricultural produce, as well as minerals accounting for the bulk of goods sold to the U.S. Let's now speak to Victor Kgomoeswana, who is Marketing and Communications Executive at the University of Limpopo and an expert, of course, on business on the continent, on the African continent. Victor, very good morning to you. Thank you so much for making time for us. Does this threat and tweet from Donald Trump, the president-elect of the U.S., come as a surprise at all?
Good day. From Trump, no, Aldrin. Trump can't surprise me any longer, and I don't think anybody should be surprised. But there are two sides to this, if I may say. One is that bigotry and superiority complex should really be treated as a disease, Aldrin, because if you are the American president and you've been used to the world where America is the superpower, you cannot fathom a world in which America is not the superpower. But any smart observer of the trends in the world would have seen for the past 25 to 50 years that the power has been shifting from the West to the East. And everybody knows that America is the largest economy now, but won't be for much longer. China will be. And everybody should understand that Brics will now replace G7 as the most influential bloc in the world. Now, for him to go out and show that level of ignorance, that people who are just being realistic about the realities of the new economic world order are being anti-America, is an indication of how shallow he is. But on the other hand, it's understanding that he should be protecting American interests, of course, because if you replace the dollar as the trading currency of the world, you are taking a lot of power from the United States. And I don't think any American president would be happy about that. The pity is that Trump is being Trump. He's using the swashbuckling approach, threatening everybody instead of negotiating to keep America in the game.
Yeah, do you think that that could at all influence the discussions? For instance, Vladimir Putin was clear that, listen, we don't want another currency. However, though, we are forced into a situation where we have to have these conversations of another currency. But there is no currency that is on the table currently as we're having this conversation. Does this tweet from Trump at all influence what conversations will be had going forward?
No, and they wouldn't, because it's true. President Putin is right. It's not as if there is a currency that anybody can switch to. But what the Brics countries are saying, and it's a fair request, is that they would like to trade in their own currency. Let me explain this. If you are trading with Nigeria, Nigeria uses Naira as a currency. Or let's talk about Ethiopia, which uses Birr. Birr is the currency. You are South African, you use the rand. But you have to find dollars to pay your bills to Ethiopia. That's what the Brics countries are saying doesn't make sense. And it shouldn't make sense to anybody. Because every time you translate your currency into another, Aldrin, you either get a translation loss or a translation gain, depending on which is weaker. But there are costs, there are bank transaction fees, there are all kinds of advisory fees that go into this, and you end up paying a whole lot more just to pay somebody in Ethiopia when they shouldn't be. That shouldn't be the case. The essence of making these Brics countries to be able to trade in their own currencies is so that they don't unnecessarily incur the costs of trading in a foreign currency. Rather, let negotiations be between South Africa and Ethiopia about how to translate rand to beer and vice versa. Not translate the rand to the dollar and then the dollar to beer, because that's what's going to happen. So America is just benefiting and is managing to keep itself as the standard, the gold standard of the world, unfairly, even in matters that don't concern it.
Thank you so much for your time, Victor Kgomoeswana there, who is a communications executive at the University of Limpopo and also somebody who's an expert on business on the African continent.